So high schoolers have one more week, but does your kids have 2 weeks left?
I turned the live stream on, guys. Just make sure your mics are off.
We're going?
Should be.
Two minutes. Anything exciting? Sometime.
Unless you can talk about cleaning out my parents' house.
It's not slowing down yet? Oh my God. Maybe you gotta stop working 6 days a week.
I work 7 days a week, Jason, one place or
I
another.
thought you had Sundays off at least.
Well, that's what I was doing yesterday.
Well, at least it was your
I
free
didn't come to
time.
the office yesterday,
Yeah.
which is the first time in a long
Oh,
time.
jeez.
It's the only way it's gonna get done. My sister's helpful and married. How are you, Austin?
I'm great, Pat. How are you?
Starting to go back to school, huh?
Well, just about.
You got a
Next
week?
week or what?
So the 18th is our next meeting. Is our first institute day, and then the 20th is when students report. So
Well, LP goes back a week early, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I got 6 o'clock. Is everybody ready?
let's rock and roll.
You ready, Mac? Mac, you ready? Okay. I'd like to call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Baldridge. Here. Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott,
Here.
Moyle,
Here.
Kern.
Here, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 4, public comment on agenda items only. Please. That way the people at home can hear you. You want to just pull the little button towards yourself.
Okay, my name is Pat Flecker, and I presented some information, I think, at the last meeting in regards to the request for dual metering, and I see it's on the agenda this week, and I just wanted to thank you very much in advance for your prompt attention to this. And as you go through the recommendation I made for an amendment, obviously I don't have all the answers, but if I don't have the answer, I certainly can get the answer for you from the sprinkler contractor. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Be great.
Thank you.
I will say one thing, if they had some data on how much water sprinkler systems use as an average, I think that'd be useful, because I had put something together years ago based on what I found, but there were some residents I know that were not happy with that. If there was some professional recommendations on stuff like that, that would be useful.
Of how much an irrigation system
Yes,
uses?
we did, there's 2 rates that we have for the city. One is for seeded lawns and for sod lawns, for how much water is required. So if there was a professional organization that had some good recommendations of that, that could be useful.
Okay, I will call in tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
Excellent, thanks.
Thank you.
Number 5, approve minutes from the July 21, 2025 regular session. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a. I'll
I'll
second.
Roll call, please.
You're fine. Thank you.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 6, approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $170,128.39. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the bills?
I motion we approve the bills presented for payment in the amount of $170,128.39.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 7, approve payroll for August 1st, 2025 in the amount of $83,585.94. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the payroll?
I motion we approve payroll for August 4th, 2025 in the amount of $83,585.94.
August 1st.
Oh, August 4th,
August
sorry.
4th.
Or,
4th or 1st?
well, it's
August
for
1st.
the 4th, it's the meeting on the 4th.
Oh.
Right.
Whatever,
First, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Got it.
The first.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 8, old business. A, accept proposal to add pump to well number 3 VFD at a cost of $60,649.09. McDermott.
Okay, we looked further into this. We found a couple of different avenues. We want to clarify and make sure everything's done right. So I'd like to table this for now. Okay,
Second.
thank you.
Was that a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion
and a
to
second.
table.
Okay, just verifying. Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. B, ordinance number 1294-080425 corrects previous ordinance allowing for Keno. Apparently, some of the language is kind of tricky on how there was a definition there, so we needed to make a modification. Pat, did you want to elaborate anything maybe on that?
Well, Colin actually did the research for me on modifying this ordinance to try and allow Keno to come into Oglesby, and I guess I misunderstood what he told me, to be perfectly frank about it. I got rid of your definition of a raffle entirely and just said that you would allow any gaming that was allowed under either one of the state acts. But when somebody looked at it for one of your video vendors, they were confused, and then we looked into it a little further. I showed Colin what I'd done. He said, no, you were supposed to do something different, Dad. So we have to keep your definition of a raffle just as it was before. So this ordinance reinstates that, but does exempt both sets of gaming statutes from the requirement that those vendors have to get a raffle license here. Because a raffle is different than this whole Keno game thing that's going on now. And I think I told you last time, that is only allowed by the state and only for the lottery. So that particular game can only be played on a state lottery machine,
So
is
does,
what I've been told.
so does this keep it, like we said last time, to where if there's any other changes that the state, Illinois, we're good for, if they make a change to anything like that, it's still covered under what, we don't have to make another
Correct,
modification,
because we
right?
exempt the Video Gaming Act and whatever the other one was called, I forget.
Okay.
There's 2 acts that control this by the state. And this says they're not subject to your raffle ordinance, meaning they don't have to send Becky an application for
Okay.
every time they change a game or something. So this brings it in line with current statute.
Okay, so the Illinois Gaming Board, again, we don't have any control over anything with it.
No.
It takes us out of the process
It
and
does.
allows them to go through the state then.
It does.
Okay. Go around, anybody has any comments on it? Austin?
No.
Hillary?
I
Matt?
do, does this count for any kind of gaming, gambling, or, I mean, would it include bingo or whatever
Well,
else?
It includes raffles, as defined in the ordinance, as it was before defined in your ordinance. It's a game of chance,
Right.
basically.
Well, so,
You know, where
the
you
others.
buy a ticket or something and you have a chance to win. And we, by this ordinance, will reinstate that requirement that if anybody wants to do that kind of a game in Oglesby, they have to get a raffle license. But as to those games that are allowed under state statute for the Video Gaming Act, they do not have to apply to the city. Those are all controlled by the
okay,
state.
so it's underneath the Gaming Act,
It is.
okay.
And there's a second one
Alright.
too, Mac. It's the Illinois Video Gaming Act and the Illinois Lottery Act, which is where the Keno comes in,
Mm.
because that's an Illinois lottery game now.
Okay. Rich, you have any?
Okay, makes sense.
I guess I do. A while back, there was some controversy over bingo being played in local bars, and wondering how this would fall in place with that.
Well, let's look at the definition, which just
Hmm,
seems like
that's what I was
that
asking, wasn't it?
suggestion is.
I think it's as long as it's for a nonprofit, I think the bingo is fine. This, because this is a different
Yeah.
one for profit though, is why
Right,
that got
right,
changed.
Right. Raffle means a form of lottery as defined in the Criminal Code of 1961. The player or plays or agrees to pay something of value for a chance represented and differentiated by a number or by a combination of numbers or by some other means, one or more of which chances is designated to a winning chance. And the winning chance is to be determined through a drawing or by some other method on an element of chance by an act or set of acts on the part of persons conducting or connected with the lottery, except that the winning chance shall not be determined by the outcome of a publicly exhibited sporting contest. So I would arguably say that bingo would be a raffle, which, having read that aloud to you here,
Mhm.
I think, you know, if somebody wants to put bingo in bars, I think they have to get a raffle license.
So my other question will be, does anybody here really know what they passed last time? Are we just passing ordinances just to pass them, or what was the purpose of the last ordinance?
The last ordinance was to try and allow chemo in Oglesby, and I missed that mark, Rich, I'm here to tell you, that was my mistake. And this one is to correct it in compliance with the new state statute.
Because we thought you just had to change
Yeah.
the definition of the word raffle, but in reality, there was,
I thought if we just exempted the lottery system entirely, that, you know, we would cover them offering that game in Oglesby, but I've come to find out that's not the case. We need to still define raffles, but exempt anything by the lottery board or under the Illinois Gaming Act, which is all machines and stuff, from your raffle ordinance. So those are different than a raffle, is what I'm saying.
So correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Mayor Karen said something in the prior meeting that, this would only affect one business in the town because only one business would be allowed by the state to have that per city, is that?
That I don't know.
I thought
I mean,
Keno could only be played
it's up to
by
the
one person.
lottery as to who gets their
And if you
machines
did,
to operate.
whoever got it, their application in first was most likely the person that would get that. Wasn't that what you said? at the
no, I
beginning?
think something like 20, wasn't it, you said, I think is what 20,000 people applied and there's only like 800 or something like that.
There were a lot of numbers that applied. I'd have to go back and read through my notes here.
Yeah.
But very limited numbers of them are gonna be issued, at least initially. You know, they could change that in the future.
I think what I said was, we're not gonna be the control of it. We're not the controlling authority to approve,
And
which,
you are not.
which,
It's
'cause
the
that-
Lottery Commission that's gonna control.
that's what
it.
would've made me nervous if all of a sudden, like, it's like, we can only allow 2, and everybody asks for 1. That'd be a nightmare. So I don't wanna have to deal with that if, we don't have to. So that way it's up to the state.
I'm not seeing those numbers quickly here, Jason.
Didn't you say that Illinois law doesn't even allow it yet?
Keno, yeah, was not allowed until this amendment to the Lottery Act that allowed,
Okay,
The
so that
lottery
has
to
passed
offer Keno.
the
Did
amendment.
it pass already?
yeah,
It did pass.
yeah. But not for everybody, just for who the Lottery Commission decides gets to play that game.
Yeah, I don't know,
Pick and
was there any
choose.
guidance on, and again, I know this is probably well beyond legal stuff, but since you might have read it, did they say how many places, is it like a distance thing between where somebody can have one, or
Don't know,
nothing?
Jason, I can't offer you any guidance there.
Okay, I get it. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns?
So, this is really, not really an important question, but, if the state of Illinois chose to introduce just any random new game, so this is Keno, but let's say they introduce, I don't know, something that's totally different, every one of those new games that they introduce would be allowed under the wording of this ordinance.
Correct.
Yeah.
By either the Lottery Commission or the
So if we
Illinois
had,
Gaming Board.
if we had an objection to one of those games, for whatever reason, you'd have to amend the ordinance to,
I'm not sure you could object, honestly, because it's a statewide thing,
okay.
and it's kind of controlled by the criminal code.
Then, okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Well,
We wouldn't be able to object, but as of right now, it's not allowed.
Yeah,
So there is something we can do to block
Well,
it.
but if they allow it, I think that's what Austin's asking, if they offer a different game other than Keno, you know, would we have a right to put a stop to that? And I'm here to tell you, I don't think you would be able to if the state authorizes it as a authorized game in town. Although you control the number of gambling licenses in town, so to that extent, you probably could.
How?
We do?
You do not. You control the liquor license in town. You do not control the gambling license.
Well, you have to have a liquor license to have a gambling
Right.
license, so you
So-
effectively control the number of
Yeah.
gambling establishments in town by controlling the number of liquor licenses.
Through default.
Mhm.
That's how you stop it from getting it to 50 or
Exactly.
100 or whatever, but you can't,
Exactly.
okay. All right. Good questions.
Around
Anybody else
the
need anything
way.
clarified? All right, in that case, someone make a motion?
I motion, to approve, would it be? Is that the
Yeah.
verbiage?
Ordinance 1294-080425.
I motion to
Correct
approve
previous
ordinance
ordinance.
number 1294-080425, correcting previous ordinance allowing for Keno.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Abstain.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle. Aye. Curran.
Aye. Number 9, new business. A, purchase of a vactor truck. McDermott.
Okay, on the vector truck, we have a couple of things. I want everybody to be aware that multiple departments would be able to use it. However, you will need a Class A, and we're gonna have to get a new building to put it in. Training's gonna be required. Need to know how people feel about it and which way would you wanna buy one. If we end up buying it, would you wanna use, leasing or whatever? And we gotta figure out where we're gonna put it.
Go around the room. Anybody
It's
else?
gonna cost a little more.
Yeah.
Austin, you got questions, concerns?
Yeah, my biggest concern was just being made aware of the fact that it wasn't something that was appropriated for, in the appropriations for the current fiscal year. I mean, just the cheapest option to buy outright would be, I think from the numbers you sent, is 350 grand. And I
That's
mean,
if it's still available.
yeah, and that's about a third of what we appropriated for the streets department total. So, that would be a pretty substantial expenditure to pay all up front. So I'm fine with the idea, especially if we need it, but I definitely think it would be something, I would prefer leasing, but I also know that we would then be obligated to purchase the more expensive, newer one as well. So it's kind of my thoughts on it.
Okay, Hillary?
My eyes like
Well-
bugged out of my head when you said we had to get a new building. Can you
Well,
elaborate?
Yeah, it's gotta be building, even during the summer, you're gonna have to keep
It's
it
gotta
in there
be
because of
indoors.
the, huh?
Yeah, it's gotta be indoors.
It's gotta be indoors.
So you're saying there's no room in the street garage currently?
Street garage.
I've never
not
been there.
big enough at all,
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
that is pretty large.
And, not
sorry.
only that, keep in mind that other departments will be using it too, so would you want to actually take it from the street department or
I mean,
shared cost, or,
is there room in the electric garage?
I think you guys are full too, ain't you?
Is there room in the old fire station? I mean,
No,
that
there's
whole
no
fire.
No, not even in the old fire
Alright.
station. That's the things we're looking at.
Rich, do you have any questions, Clarence?
Yeah, in regards to Commissioner Cullinan's statement there, on the purchasing of it not being allocated in the, whatever here.
Appropriations.
Appropriations, yeah, if we made payments on it, I
Yeah.
believe it would be allocated, because if we're paying $150,000 per year, regardless, we're paying for that to be brought in here anyway. When they need it, they're calling, so I believe I read out those numbers last time, I don't have them here in front of me, but they were somewhere around $100,000 anyway, so
yeah, that's a fair point.
what are you, what are you gaining by paying it each year,
Right.
as opposed to just saying, hey, we signed this contract for $400,000? Now, by all means, I'm not agreeing to purchase that tonight, I think
Yeah.
we need to
Right.
examine it a little bit more and come to a better solution.
Yeah.
The building, housing, and the building would be
Yeah.
a major problem here for us at this time, but
Yeah.
We,
I do believe we're throwing away money anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you're either throwing it away, or you're gonna have something at the end of the day, hopefully.
Fair point. Do you remember how much we were spending? I don't remember. I know I saw it last meeting, but what is the amount we were spending yearly?
We've spent over $500,000 in the last 3 years.
yeah.
Okay.
And the
So-
thing of it is, we'd have to include a building of some kind.
So, my couple things with it. One, we just passed appropriations and it wasn't appropriated for. So, I mean, that's something that we do need to, if it's a long-term purchase, we need to look at that. My understanding is all the services that we contact, Illinois Valley Excavating, necessarily, it's not gonna wipe out all the things that they do, is my understanding, just the
No.
vector services. So it would be great to see like a 5-year usage of how much those costs were. Because my understanding is a vector truck, the city used to have one many years ago, but it's extremely expensive to maintain, and it's difficult to maintain because of all the hydraulic hoses. Maybe that's an old one, I don't know.
No,
What's that?
What would be hydraulic hoses on that?
there's all kinds of hydraulic.
Lance, can you help me with this one?
Yeah, there's hoses.
Even though your wand, your pressure, your
Yeah.
wand,
This water.
pony motor, whatever in the back of the back truck, it's all hydraulic stuff, all hydraulic.
Do you know when the city got rid of its old one? Do you know when the city got rid?
These go forward.
Okay, yeah, so I never seen it, I just heard that it was always needed maintenance, and it was very expensive. Now, that might have been an old one, I don't know. But I'm looking at the prices of the ones, I think the new one was 500,000, and the cheapest one was 350,000, and that's an 8-year-old vector truck. So then it makes the question is, what is the maintenance for that? What is the depreciation amount over 20 years? And then you have this whole new building in there. Again, it may be something that's a great cost savings thing, but I think we need to have a lot of the data laid out and then appropriated for if it is gonna be a cost savings thing. At the time, I think when we looked at,
We're paying to do it now.
Actually, I'm running a search right now. I love this new software that we
Lance,
have.
can you speak to what else they do that?
So they also have a mini hoe that we use, that has a jackhammer on it. Our bobcat can struggle sometimes to get through Walnut Street or Columbia Street. They also come in and do, projects on their own that we hire them for, the city hires them for. That doesn't include, say, like replacing fire hydrants or, putting in a valve somewhere possibly. But a lot of the stuff is back truck, probably the majority. But there is mini hoe and stuff like that. And then the back truck also has a sewer jetter, so they clean lines, sewer lines and that, and those all come out at the end of that. So it's not just the hydro excavator
Would you happen to know roughly a percentage as to how much we're paying just for the vac truck operation?
So in 2023, we paid 248,000 in
Yeah.
just vactor
Yep.
services.
That was also the
Yeah.
year I believe we did the hydrants, was it not?
Mm-hmm.
120,000. So that was, 12 hydrants, I believe it was, that was granted 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So that bill is from that. That's why that one's probably so much higher than the rest. So they were contracted to do that. I believe that was
It should be, but it probably doesn't
Yeah.
show like that in the
No.
bills. It probably doesn't show like that. It just shows that the bill got paid to them. And that
Well,
was
no,
what we
it
had-
shows a description, vactor services. It tells you
tells
what
you.
equipment.
I know, but the
Yeah.
point he's trying to make is that's when we had those special isolation valves that if we had a break on that 14-inch line, the city would have to shut down. And we put in that grant for it, waited like 2.5 years, didn't get it, so we had to come with a, and the reason it's so,
I'm talking about the hydrant. Remember the hydrant?
hydrant.
around
that's not the
corner?
thing that had the cut, where they had to do the special cut
They
and
had
special
to put
isolation?
2,000, yes, but this is, remember when we went out for grant for
Yep.
12 hydrants and it got delayed by
Oh,
3
yeah.
years? That, they got the bid for that, so I'm
Okay.
sure that is part of that.
Was it part of the, remember the big isolation stuff we had to do? Remember that, how you had to shut?
They didn't do those.
They
That
didn't
was
do
a
those?
different company.
Okay.
They just came in a little faster, just to make the holes, but they didn't do any of the valving. That was-
Right.
Well, they did come in to do the,
It made some holes, yeah, because on Walnut Street, there's a lot of underground there, and we can't go back over something in there.
Okay, so what happened in 24? Do you have, like, anything big that, before I throw a number out, you guys are like, no, there was something special?
Was that next slide?
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head, other than a couple big breaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the point is we need to get all this information together and then like divide out by the last 5 years, what was spent, excluding maybe special projects or something like that, just to see what general maintenance is, to see if this is a good financial decision. That'd be my 2 cents.
Rich, though, I do not know the
Okay.
hourly, I do know it's less here than it is,
I'm just,
but I don't know exactly.
I'm just trying to determine
Very
if it's smart for us to
feasible.
buy this. I mean, are we gonna be saving $125,000 a year? The rest of it, we could still have them come and do if there's small projects every now and then, as opposed to us paying $150,000 to $240,000 per year.
2024 was 152,
52.
I mean,
888.
at the end of that, we
Thank
still have
you.
zero here. Like, we pay
Yep.
the bill, we have
Right.
nothing.
But there's still a concern, where are we gonna put this thing?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'll have to figure.
I mean,
building
I've
of some
said-
kind.
gosh, I'm gonna be honest, my boyfriend works for the city of LaSalle, and he gets on about how we need a vector truck here, it's ridiculous. So, I've been looking at it, these bills are very expensive, and it would pay off to buy it, but where are we gonna put it? 'Cause,
Well, that's another thing
Yeah.
that needs to be included. Not only that, you may have to get another guy, because this is gonna be out like 3 or 4 days a week if we use it continuously like we hire out for Illinois Valley.
All right.
It's just things we gotta look into.
I'd suggest we table it and get
We're gonna
some,
have to table it.
solid numbers here and ideas as to what we're gonna have to do.
Anybody else have anything else to add, or ready for a motion?
I think that's a good idea.
Make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we table the purchase of a vector truck and get more information on it.
Second,
Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Baldridge,
aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
I,
Kern.
Aye. B, enforcement of zoning, property maintenance, and nuisance codes. Baldridge.
Yeah, I have a few things to say to start conversation and then let the council
Let's go.
as a whole decide the direction we go from here. Do we enforce ordinances or not? Do we honor our oath to faithfully uphold our city ordinances, or does the majority suggest we just sit back, be scared, neglecting our duties and fellow constituents' concerns? That's the question I feel is in front of us. I've received many complaints about a variety of concerns and public nuisances. Upon attempting to rectify the situations, I've run across quite a bit of confusion as to who's responsible for what. It's my belief that we either intend to uphold these ordinances or redraft what our city's objectives truly are. Do we want overgrown and unkept properties, unapproved use of public properties, misutilized or zoned properties, abandoned vehicles, 50 years of miscellaneous items scattered for public view for years? Tonight I intend to get some answers, as each elected official is allowed to voice their opinion.
Okay. I think I had some conversations about this, and I guess there must have been some confusion on how this goes, but we can go around the table first and see if people have any comments or something. Start with you, Austin.
No, I totally agree with Rich. I think that there should be, we should be more consistent in our enforcement of our city ordinances. With that being said, one of the things that I've heard from talking to people around the city is kind of, I guess kind of the confusion thing, that some people have attempted in the past to enforce codes or whatever, and then they've had their hands slapped. And so I was dealing, there was an issue with code enforcement that I was presented with about a month ago, and it was a really minor thing. But I told Becky to just enforce the ordinance as it is, you know, and that was my ultimately the message that we communicated to the parties that were involved. But I did feel kind of bad doing that in a sense, though, because there are, you know, it takes basically a complaint for anything to, you know, kind of get addressed. I don't think we're very proactively enforcing our codes, but again, from what I've heard, people have felt like their hands have been slapped when they've attempted to do that. And so, again, I would totally agree with Rich that we need to be consistent and thorough. I'm not sure what the disconnect is, though. So,
Hillary?
I think one of the main things we need to do is have a clear, defined whose responsibility is what. If grass is an issue, are we going to rely on the police to take care of that? Or are we going to, we need to have it clear, concise. It's really easy to point at the police and say, enforce everything. It's a law. But some things, how are they supposed to know? So I think that's one thing that I would like to have a goal of defining who is responsible for what, and then the appropriate action on how we're going to take care of these things.
Okay, Mac?
Well, I agree with you, Hillary, that's exactly right. This has been brought up before, and there's no clear-cut person as far as who enforces what and how you enforce it. Like what you were saying, Cullen, that's true. A lot of times it's not until somebody says something about it. And when you have somebody that's enforcing it, you can't just say, no, you can't do this or you can't do that. It's got to be cut and dry. It's got to be one way or the other.
Okay. So it recently got informed that maybe there were some problems with how we have it, so, or at least there wasn't support from the council. So I think what I'd like to do is reiterate what I thought our plan of attack was, and that way if the council has a different opinion, we can get that out there. I don't think it is, but that way it will be clear, so we won't have an issue with somebody concerned about being enforcement. So my understanding how it was, that we came up with about maybe a year and a half ago, was, let's say, again, the cops aren't gonna know building codes, setbacks, that's not their thing, right? Their job is laws, and they're not gonna know the building code violations. So the thought process was, what they can do is, there's like 3 things they do when they're on patrol, right? If they're at night, they make notification if there's any streetlights that are out, right? Because obviously the street department's not, or the electric department's not gonna see if there's streetlights out in the middle of the day, or something's wrong with that. So they make a log, they put that in there, the electric department gets to that, great. Next one is if they see cars parked illegally. I mean, not just like, we're talking like parked in yards, parked in places obviously they're not supposed to be. If they see that, or if they see lawns that are wildly outgrown, we don't have to wait until there is a complaint that's been put in. The goal is that, again, we're trying to do community policing, so that they would go knock on the individual's door and say, hey, sir, just want to let you know, your lawn's out of ordinance, or your car's not allowed to be parked in the yard there. If you could please rectify that by the end of the week, that'd be great. That was the plan. And if they don't do it, at that point, the clerk's office issues a formal letter to them stating, on this, you are violating XYZ in our ordinance. If you don't have this completed by whatever, you're going to be fined, you're going to be charged, we're going to have to take care of it, and we'll charge you a fee. That's my understanding of how that was supposed to happen. The other thing is, the other problem is other types of violations. And like Hillary said, like right now, I'm sure somebody is going 21 miles an hour on Walnut Street. If you don't know that somebody's doing something, or you don't know what's happening, we don't know necessarily if somebody is moved into a downstairs apartment in the business district, which is illegal. That's not allowed, unless it was continued use. And then you have, if somebody, I think there's somebody that doesn't have siding on their house and it's been like that for 5 or 10 years. Once either the zoning administrator or the building inspector is made aware of that, I think it's their job to look at it and say, yes, this is something that is against our ordinances, and then the clerk's office generates that letter, sends it off to them. That is my understanding of what is supposed to be happening. I did hear that there was something that happened like a year and a half ago that, I'll just say, impeded that process a little bit, and I think that's been rectified since. So, does anybody here from the council disagree with how we should approach that?
Yeah.
Okay?
I don't disagree with how we should approach it. I disagree with the fact that our police department does do a great job. They try to do their best they can, and when they go to a door, like you said, they pretty much embarrass themselves because you tell them, hey, you gotta clean up your yard. It doesn't really go much farther than that, and most of the times they get scolded afterwards for, what are you messing with them for? Why did you go to their house? What did you do that for? So, I'm trying to, tonight, to get some answers as to how we are going to make sure that this is cut and dry. What's the standard procedure from tonight on? Like, this can't just be said how it is and how it's been going, because we're getting complaints, you're putting everybody in a bad position to whether they're trying to enforce something, but then they look foolish because they can't enforce it. So, do we start sending things to the state's attorney's office? Do we have a letter drafted to where someone isn't in compliance? They get told once, maybe twice, and then we need to come up with something better than what we have.
And the third time they get fined, or
Well, the first thing I'd like
Whatever.
to address, what do you mean by scolded, I guess? We should probably define that.
I haven't
You talking about the
received
incident?
the end of that, but
You're talking about the incident from like a year and a half ago?
There's many instances. I can assure you that they say someone's car sitting somewhere, or their grass is too much. I guarantee you that they're getting, don't worry about it. It's happening a lot, so.
I think we just need to all agree to let them do their jobs, and if it comes to the council level, back to us, that we have to commit to have their back.
I would
And
100% agree with you.
I think that we all need to, we're publicly stating it now, that we're not gonna go back and scold or chastise anyone, let them do their job. Let them be proactive, because I think that's what a lot of it has been, is they wait for the complaints.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard from residents too, that say, why do I have to call about this? Why do I have to be the one? And I agree with that. So if our police department is feeling they're not supported, that's why talking about it here, let's put that to rest. Is there anybody that has a concern with that? Like if the police see a
Well-
car parked in somebody's yard and they knock on the door and kindly say, can you please get this fixed by the end of the week? Put a little note in their system, and if it's not, we send a formal letter. Is everybody all good with that? As
We're
one
gonna go
example.
after the formal letter, 'cause I think
Yeah.
we've already got that stuff.
we all
And they
support the
still
police
does it.
here, I'm sure.
Has that been the case, that we've sent formal letters and it hasn't been resolved yet? To where we had to put a lien on somebody's property? I don't think that's happened yet,
We've
has it?
not,
put a
we've
lien
not
on
put a
it.
lien
No.
on anything,
Right.
but
No.
there are conditions that exist that could be fined, but, I mean, we've never ever gotten to that step.
That's what I
We
thought.
never went to the step
We've
of
sent the
finding.
letters to, is there anybody that we've sent a letter to that they haven't complied and we just ignored it from that point
I know
forward?
3.
Yeah, I don't know if we've sent a letter.
Okay, well, that's my understanding, is every time that we've sent a formal letter, the grass got cut, the car got moved. My biggest issue, and this is a secondary thing, in some cases, I know that we sent the letter and the car got moved off the lawn, and then 2 weeks later, the car got put back there. That, to me, needs to be addressed. Like, if you just go back to the simple, it doesn't, the process shouldn't start over again, you know what I mean? It should be like, you've done the violation, let's not continue to have this
But
problem.
then we gotta look and see what the ordinance actually states too.
What is it, Brett? They have to be licensed, titled, insured,
insured, and comparable
and also has to move 3 days. 7?
One thing though, with Becky retiring, we won't have a zoning administrator. I know obviously we have our building inspector, but are we looking at delegating this stuff to him as well, or would we be looking to put somebody else in the role of zoning administrator and task them with this kind of specifically?
Well, as you know, that's one of the topics we've been
Yeah.
talking about in in closed session how to handle that. I will say, for the 4 years previous, we actually went the entire 4 years without a zoning administrator. And there's a couple issues with that. One, certain things that the zoning administrator has the authority to do had to get moved up to the council level. One of those was approving solar things on roofs. The council actually had to approve, I think there was like 5 of them over 4 years. The other one that becomes an issue is it puts a little bit more on the building inspector that they have to do directly. So I do think that we probably should name somebody for that at some point in time, but,
I do as well.
yeah. Okay. Anything else on the topic?
One other thing I'd like to address, are we
Okay.
going to, what do we wanna do with our downtown? I think this is important for the plan committee to also know. What is our intention to do with the downtown? Are we going to continue to allow people to live on the main street, or do we wanna have businesses? You can't have both.
Are you talking the second floor or the first
The
floor?
main street, first floor.
He's talking both.
So,
Main
and this is more of a zoning question. I know we have somebody in the house that can probably answer that. My understanding is we disallowed that back in 2017? Was that?
2018 is when we
2018,
passed it.
2018. But what happens is people that had houses there or homes there, they are in existing use. So like what I said, one of the problems is, let's say somebody was renting something out under existing use. What happens is the moment that becomes vacant, it's not supposed to go back that way. That's a very difficult thing. I mean, are the police supposed to, when they see somebody moving a couch into the downstairs, say, hey, I don't know how that's really truly enforceable, because yeah, it's not, once it stops being like that, it's not supposed to be used like that again.
I do, well, Jim, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear, it's not the moment they stop doing it.
It's like 90 days or something.
Period of time.
Yeah, period of time.
Do you know
1
the
year.
period?
That's
It's
right.
1
1
year.
year?
12
Oh, okay.
months.
Well, it's a
So
shorter
it's
period
within-
for like if a restaurant closes, that's a shorter period of time if they have to update all their like ADA compliance and stuff like that, but it's 1 year for occupancy letters, I think.
So-
It's one
So-
year for grandfathered use. So
Okay.
if it stops being used as an apartment on the downstairs for a continuous 1 year period, then it's no longer allowed there. But if it's continuous, which is part of the problem, I mean, as long as they continue renting it out, it can stay a downstairs apartment.
So within that year, somebody else comes in, hey, I wanna rent this, got 11 months, he's got 1 month to go, he
No,
rents it.
Once they start to rent it back, they can continue to rent
That's
it
what I'm getting at.
in perpetuity.
That's what I'm getting at. So it'd be 11 months without anybody in there, but before that 12th month, somebody can come in and take it and it keeps going.
Well,
One of the problems that we're also having is like with our rental property ordinances, requires inspections, but getting the landlord, the owner to agree to it and to agree to a time or to return telephone calls it's almost impossible.
can you
So-
remove their occupancy permit once, if they don't meet those standards?
Well, we don't have anything like that, Hillary,
Okay.
so.
Because that's what I was looking at, is that they are obligated if there's a change in tenancy to get it re-inspected.
Yep.
So-
But I'm not sure.
They are, but we don't, the
That's what I'm saying.
enforcement
How do
part
you
is
know?
lacking. The
Yeah.
enforcement part is lacking.
Well, we gotta be
Yeah.
known first if something like that, like we don't maintain people's rental contracts.
Are they required to put the utilities in the,
They are not.
they are not, okay.
They are not.
Right
Can
there.
you make that type
Yeah,
of
we
requirement?
can.
Probably not.
Okay.
If the landlord wants to pay for it, the landlord can continue to pay for it.
So there's always a lot of talk here about how we're gonna redo our downtown, we're gonna bring business to our
Yeah.
downtown. How?
We can't do it
When
like
it's,
that.
there's residents, they're sitting there looking at you as you walk by. How are you bringing businesses? How do you even have the opportunity to bring business to the downtown when you have a bar, pretty much? And then you have 3 residences, and then you have another bar, and then 3 more residences. Who on earth would ever come and bring a business here when you have nothing around you? You can't get like someone, you have a coffee shop, maybe they sell coffee next door. You can't even have that in our city because it's hard to find 2 businesses right next to each other. So at some point, we either gotta quit talking about trying to redo our downtown, or we need to start doing something to redo our downtown.
Well, I think when you have a mixed, and again, I wasn't on the council in 2018 or how those conversations went, but when you have a mixed business residential neighborhood, you can't just instantly say, we want this all to be business, so
I
they
don't think you
changed.
did. I think you said 2017.
Then she corrected
So, I
2018.
mean, this isn't sudden, so.
But you can't, so what it is, they made the zoning change, so it eventually gets to that point through either ownership or change of property owner or something like that. I don't know how, you can't just evict people from their homes of where they live.
I'm
It's
not,
pretty-
I'm not trying to,
No.
like, just, if you've had something on the books from 2017, and it seems to me, I've lived here my entire life, pretty much within a 2-block area, I don't see any more businesses coming in. I see more residences popping up, but I don't see any more businesses or the opportunity for business to come in. Nobody's moving people out and saying, you know what, I'm gonna put a store in there now. I haven't seen that happen anywhere.
That's happened.
Where?
Yeah. We've had, so like through our incentive programs and stuff that we've done, I mean, it's not as much as anybody would like, but I mean, we have the axe throwing place.
That wasn't a house before that.
Well, I don't know what it was before, but my
It
point
was
is,
Federelli's appliance store.
so, but it was vacant, is my point, right?
No, he was vacant when
When was he
died.
vacant?
Yeah.
He passed away.
But
Mm,
Rich,
sold
in that instance, they have to stop using it that way. But if they continue to rent it out, there's really nothing the city can do.
And a year is
It's-
a long time, so
Mhm.
should we
That's-
propose to make an adjustment to the
Well-
year? I mean,
That's a
a
good-
state statute. I
Oh,
don't
that's a
think you
state
can adjust
statute.
that.
Okay.
okay.
Good question. That's a good question.
That's
That's
a good
a very
question.
good question.
You're
Good.
effectively want to deprive people of their property, at least the use of their property, without due process. Because they're entitled to continue to live there, they're entitled to continue to rent that apartment out unless it becomes vacant for a continuous period of 12 months. Otherwise, you're depriving them of their property.
I agree with you, Pat, and I'd just like to point out that we're basically blowing smoke when we're telling everybody we're trying to bring business into the downtown. You really can't. When you have the
I
businesses that are there,
don't know that I
you're
agree with
not-
that, Rich. I mean, to bring businesses into downtown, you gotta have businesses willing to invest in the downtown. And those investment, developers are few and far between.
I think the city is doing what it can. I mean, it changed the zoning ordinance to try to motivate what it's supposed to go to. We've come out with different incentive programs. There is the building improvement grant, the big, which has a multi-phase as well. There's even a thing for utility, billing that you can try to help with. I mean, there's lots of different things that we've done. We put things into the TIF zone for stuff like that. We re-put the downtown in there. I mean, Coeur d'Alene's wasn't what it was prior to. I mean, the things that we've done there have helped with that. So I hope that we continue to do stuff. We build up around Seneca Square, and I mean, now there's a hair salon down there. There's an axe throwing place. There is, just recently, is it called Lincoln Bridge Financial, I think? There's a finance place there now. We have, obviously, it's not as fast as we'd like to do. I mean, I'd love to find if there's a way that we could force, I don't wanna say force residents out, that's terrible. If we could
don't do
stop it
that.
from being used as residential properties and all converted, that'd be fantastic. But all we can do is make ordinances and make incentive plans that try to guide that. That's really the best we can do. And I think we've been doing a pretty good job with it, just not as fast as anybody would like.
If the ownership changes, do they lose their grandfathered status?
Yeah.
Not as long as the use continues.
Ugh, that isn't even a loophole, come on.
So
Is
there's
that
even
a
people that
state
live in,
statute
like,
too?
for example,
And Hillary, if I can interrupt, sorry, Jason.
Okay.
Because the buyer of that property was relying on the fact that he was gonna have rental income coming in, so that's why the statute exists. 12 months, continuous use has to be broken, or it can continue to be used that way.
So even if they sell it, we can't do anything about that either.
does that answer your question? I know, I think we're getting, I guess it's zoning, but. I know you don't like the answer, but
Well,
is,
not that I don't like it, we didn't get an answer.
what is,
How
so,
are you gonna bring businesses into the downtown? Those incentives that you just offered really don't entice anyone to take from being a resident, buying a business that says, or a building that says, okay, I have 2 tenants here, I'm gonna make $1,200 a month, guaranteed. Or we should probably be offering an incentive to them, to incentivize them to put a business in there, not to continue to rent it out or redo the face of it because it looks better downtown. How are we putting forth the effort to bring businesses into that?
Well,
We
we-
always say we're trying to bring business, but what are we doing to bring it?
Well, it's
Well,
all in TIF 6, isn't it?
yeah, our incentives are doing that, is what it is.
Where? That is not, I've not seen that. I live downtown, I have a business in downtown, you have not.
Our incentives are looking obviously, our incentives are not to try to kick residents out,
That's-
but our
that's not
incentives
necessary.
are to update vacant buildings, which has been happening. To bring businesses in.
So
I mean-
I think what he's proposing is, can we have some kind of incentive as a landlord of a building to convert those residential apartments into something that could be a usable business? Is there some kind of incentive we can offer for them to do that?
We can always
Yeah.
expand the
Well.
building improvement grant to another aspect. I mean, we have got.
I mean,
three-
that's very
Mike?
specific,
I know.
but
I think it's a strange one though, but I mean, so you're saying you want to increase another incentive program to convert
Rental
multi-dwelling units
properties to-
or rental units
Yeah,
into something else,
on the first floor, just,
first floor.
just the first floor.
okay? What about the ones that are like standalone homes though? Like, for example, there was one the city did buy, and that's,
I think we would have to modify it to the downtown area or,
Oh, yeah.
have specifics. I mean, is this what you were suggesting
Right.
I'm
is
not
to,
suggesting to kick anybody out or buy homes. I'm suggesting that a number of the businesses that are here right now, or used to be businesses back long ago, that are now occupied with tenants, what incentivizes the owner to try and draw business into it? That's what I'm looking for.
well, here's the beauty of it. We actually have a board for that kind of stuff, right? That agrees to these kinds of things and stuff like that. So I would recommend we kick that to them for them to discuss. I mean, it's all great that we can talk about it here, but this is the council. So I'd rather have those details kind of talked about, at one of our boards to see if they can come up with something. So the goal is you want to see if we can increase, is that what I'm hearing? I'm just spitballing here, that you are looking to create another type of incentive that would motivate downstairs residential into something else.
because
Into
what I'm
productive
seeing is like the
businesses.
state statute won't have our back. That could go
We can't
on
force-
for
yeah, we're not forcing
perpetuity,
anybody
or we could never have anybody out of those.
They have to be vacant for a year.
Yeah.
That's a really long
It
time.
is a long time.
365 days.
What can we offer as an incentive so the lease expires? What can we offer those people to not have it be continued downstairs apartments?
That's one thing
We
we
have
have
to
to figure
offer
it
a
out.
thriving downtown where there are businesses that are wanting to come in and will pay those landlords the price they want for their building. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
True.
Okay. Well, what I'm hearing is I would
Sure.
recommend that we send that to one of our boards, see if they can come up with a different type of incentive that we, I mean, we already have several in that package, and several of them have been used to some effect. So if there's another way to, I think that's gonna be a really complicated one though. But, because before, we don't have a lot of our stuff that redecorates like the interior stuff. It's usually for the facade, for the outside pieces.
Correct.
The only other one that we've created new that is a utility abatement policy. So, that'd be my recommendation. Does that answer your question, though?
No,
No.
we can move on.
Okay. All right, well, we can put that on the next agenda item then to send something to them. Okay. There's nothing else on that. C, dual metering / sewer credits for irrigation systems. McDermott.
Okay, everybody got that at the last meeting, right? You still got it? I'm being told that, hold on, let me, okay. What we could do is, maybe not 2 meters, but create a second account for the portion of the yard that's gonna be used for the, system, okay? That's an option. Otherwise, everything else that, Patricia put out was pretty well correct. It is different than what you were proposing first, Corinne. Did you read that or no?
I did.
Okay. What's everybody feel about it? I think it's
possibly
good.
We should let Lance speak about it. I think something might have been misinterpreted here.
No.
Can you speak, Lance, please?
So you would still have 2 meters. You
Okay.
would have your original meter with the sewer rate and your water rate. The second meter would have to go on a second account.
Okay.
That way there's no sewer rate attached to that. After talking with Patty at the clerk today, having 2 meters on the same account, there's no way to separate a sewer rate with 2 meters on one account. So you would create a second account for the homeowner with just a meter with a water rate. The meter would have to be inside building the house with the other one, but 2 meters, 2 accounts.
Patricia, does that sound right? Or-
Yes.
Okay. All right, so
Good, go around.
It's-
Awesome.
there you go.
So the city uses smart meters, is that correct? And so the way that works to get somebody's meter reading, you just drive around and it connects and,
Yeah, it sends a radio signal out, they
Okay.
just drive by.
do you think that it would be necessary or in the best interest, of all parties for the city to provide that second meter? Or do you think that somebody who purchases that meter, themselves and owns it outright, would be able to hook up to our smart meter reading system?
No, so the homeowner always purchases the meter, so even when a new home's built,
Mhm.
they still purchase the
Okay.
meter, the city is then responsible after.
Okay,
But, the homeowners always purchase the
Okay.
meter, just when they're tap fees, and then
Okay.
when they build their home. And then for
But
like the
from a city vendor, so it's always readable by
Yes.
your city employees.
Correct, yeah,
Okay.
all the meters in the city are supplied by the city, unless it's a special meter that is agreed upon with, the city and the contractor. But it has to have our reader on it, so that the software can read it when the, people drive by to read it.
okay. And then the other thing, and I frankly, well, I'll just say this.
Sorry.
We will lose, to some extent, money that we would be making off of the sewer, just because your sewer fees are tied to your water usage. It's something to consider, but I ultimately don't think that should be a primary consideration for us, though, as I think we should minimize as much as possible, trying to extract, as much revenue as we can from residents, especially if the water that they're using isn't ultimately going into the sewer system, but something to consider as well. But that's all I have on it.
Okay, Hillary?
So in order for this to go in effect, we have to modify our ordinance? Because
Yes.
something in our ordinance
I haven't
prevents
looked at your
that?
ordinance, Hillary,
Okay,
but I would expect you would.
okay.
Like Peru used to have a dual metering system. When I built my house 25 years ago, I could have put a separate meter in to service my outside spigots and any irrigation system I chose to put into place. But I've been told that they have discontinued that opportunity in Peru. Why, I don't know. I think it would be interesting to find out probably. Whether that's even true, I'm not sure, but I've been told that's the case. I never put the second one in. But, many of my neighbors have them, and they have irrigation systems, and I bet they're glad they do, cause they don't pay sewer rates on all that water I see flying around in the yard. But somebody might wanna check in with Peru, unless you know, Lance,
I
anything
do
about
not.
it?
I do not.
There had to be some reason they discontinued it, if they discontinued it.
Yeah, I can make a phone call and see if anybody there knows why. I don't know if their attorney would know, or if it would be somebody in the water department.
Yeah, the attorney wasn't there at the time, but
Okay.
I think somebody in the clerk's office of the water department.
Okay, I can give a phone call tomorrow.
Rich?
And of course, it comes with a cost, because
Right.
you have to pay a second
Got
meter
to.
fee, Pat, and to pay for that second meter.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that was in the.
Yep.
as
That
far
was
as-
in her
As
proposal
as
to
I
begin with.
understood, it's not an ordinance, it's just a procedure that you folks put in place to allow for new seeded lawns.
Mm-hmm.
correct.
And
Policy.
it wasn't an
Yep.
ordinance, so
It's a
my
policy.
suggestion was make this an amendment to the ordinance.
Yep.
And as Lance said, the homeowner is responsible for paying for the meter. It would probably be done through the sprinkler contractor, because they have the know-how to hook up the meter. They would hook up the meter according to how Tess would want it, so that their drive-by smart meters.
And Al, the plumbing inspector has inspected.
Yep. Rich?
Rich.
I would like to commend her for trying to beautify the
Yeah,
area, her
it's great.
residency. And, also, I would like to apologize, it was kind of embarrassing that we're trying to look for a way to obtain more money when we know for a fact it's not being delivered to the sewer system. I don't appreciate that stuff, and I understand totally where you're coming from, but to say that we're somehow possibly losing money, I don't think.
We're gaining money.
I do know that there are some residents here that are not on the sewer system. They have their own septic. So I'm assuming they're not paying a septic fee.
Well, let's finish the council's, because I was gonna ask that question. Lance, I think we already have some meters that are like that. If I remember, the street that's past mine, on the far side of the street, they have our water, but they're not connected into our sewer, so they're people that, so they probably have just a water meter, but not a, so that's probably something that, so we have those kind of meters already in existence. What's that?
Are they annexed into the city? Because that's a South Township road.
They're not annexed into the city, so I know they pay a 10% higher water rate, but I don't think they pay, those don't pay a sewer rate though, is what I'm guessing. So we must have something, we must have a means in the system to set.
There's no sewer line there.
There's no sewer line.
Yeah.
But the water meter, how the water meter usually works is whatever you bring in for water, that's what you get charged for sewer as well.
If you're connected.
If you're connected to sewer.
Connected to
But
sewer.
obviously, those aren't, and there's only a few of them. But so they probably have whatever the setting in the system is to just charge the water rate, not both.
I believe when Mr. Moore lives on Island, or,
Lehigh.
Lehigh there.
Yeah, there's a
I think
few
that
there.
issue was brought up with him, because he wasn't so close to the sewer, that
Yep.
he asked about that.
Yep, he had to
I
get
don't know
permit.
what the ordinance is, how close you have to be.
Well, that's a whole different thing. That's if they have to request that. We went through that a while ago with, I think it's like 400 feet or something.
Sporadically through town that are probably on a septic
Okay.
out on the outskirts.
So, in general, I do appreciate you bringing this up, because it is a lot different than what we talked about years ago, which was the mobile meter thing, and that just was not a good situation. So a permanent meter, I don't think there's an issue with that. If you look at why we created that policy in the first place, is because if people wanted to beautify their homes, their lawns, that's a benefit to the city, right? We don't want them to not do that because they think they're not getting a good deal on the water. So that's why we came up with that seeded lawn credit and the sod credit system. So if somebody wants to put in a meter and they're paying for the extra meter, whatever that cost is, I don't think there's an issue with that. But I mean, that unfortunately means you're paying a dual meter rate, but you won't pay the sewer rate. So if you use enough water, I guess it'll probably make it, you'll save money in the end. But I don't have an issue with that. I think that's a good thing to make a modification for. Go around the room if anybody else has any other
Well-
comments on that?
No, I think we should look into it. What would be, do we need to make a motion to look into that, to make an amendment,
Well-
or?
I would say we should look at the ordinance first, then I can report to you what I find, and then you can make a decision.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we look into the ordinance, and I'm all for this, guys. It'll beautify the city, it helps.
So you're making a motion that we look into
Look into
what it
it,
would take to modify
What
the
it
ordinance.
would take to modify the ordinance and, bring it back to us so we can approve it.
Fair enough. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Pat. Appreciate it. Number 10,
Lance,
do you have
I
something?
was just gonna say that, just so the city knows, you are responsible for the meter after it's put in.
Yeah,
just
well-
like the original one for the home. So if you were to update it, you're updating that one along with the home.
Once somebody pays for a meter, the city's responsible for replacing it for perpetuity.
Okay,
But they also
Thanks,
pay a
Lance.
small fee for that meter in the first place, though, so.
appreciate it.
Got it.
Thanks.
Okay, number 10, public comment on any topic. Seeing none, we'll move on. Number 11, commissioner reports. Commissioner Cullen.
Okay. So first thing, this is something that a lot of people were asking me about, and it's something that frankly should have been mentioned last meeting, and unfortunately I forgot to include them in my commissioner's report. I have them for you tonight, however, the Summer Fun Fest numbers. From the numbers, from the sheet we were provided by City Clerk Kleinert, the event in total brought in around $125,000 in revenue while expending around $110,000 for a net profit of around $15,000. This number is up from last year where the profit was only $1,400. I don't know why. But down from essentially every other year. So just for reference, 2023 was about $17,000. 2022 was about $22,000. 2021 was about $30,000. The highest it ever, I guess, made would have been in 2012 when it made about a $42,000 profit. So just something to be aware of, and obviously we can look to maximize our profit as much as possible on that moving forward. But I did want to report those nonetheless. On Tuesday, July 29th, I attended the semi-annual NCICG conference at IBCC. Ross Grimes from Fair Graham presented on brownfields. While the city has few, if any, sites that could be considered brownfields, which he defined as sites where there is actual or perceived contamination, I nonetheless appreciated the extensive amount of information provided on the topic, including grant opportunities. It made me wonder as to what other grant opportunities might be available for different locations in the city of Oglesby. Additionally, the Plan Commission is continuing its work on revising the city's comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan is effectively the roadmap for the city over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. They are seeking public input and as a result are distributing a form that can be completed digitally or in person at City Hall. Please watch out for a postcard in the mail from the Plan Commission with a QR code that you can scan with your phone's camera to fill out. Lastly, regarding the city's website, I put in some work on the city's boards page this weekend. It's one of the issues that we have, as it's very low on the list of issues, but it's still an issue nonetheless, is that we still have some vacancies on our city boards. Considering that we have so many vacancies still, I kind of feel as if people don't know enough about what boards we have and what exactly we do. That's what I aim to fix with my revisions. If you go to the new city boards page on the city's website, I added a brief description of each board along with the members of each board and when their respective terms expire. This is something as this is something that we often forget ourselves. I think having this information on the website is just one step in increasing the notability and the influence of our boards. We are also in the process of adding other materials to the city's website for the purposes of transparency and satisfying different legal obligations per state statute. There are certain things that you're required to post by state law. Materials include things such as each year's appropriations, copies of our yearly audits, employee benefit statements, employee compensation reports, other financial documents, tax levies, union contracts, and wage ordinances. We're going to try and get as many of those posted as we can within the next 2 weeks. You can find those on the city's website. If you go to the City Services tab and down to Transparency, it will take you to a folder where you can access those things. And then lastly, this isn't particularly important, but professionally, in my main job, I'm a history teacher, and I think especially with the archiving that was done with Oglesby Days, I thought that was very commendable, and I'm glad that's continuing. But I would really like to, on our city's website, as far as the heritage thing is concerned, and I'm totally receptive to any other ideas. I'm not particularly creative, but I'm looking to add a list of all previous councils and appointed officials to the best of my ability with what I can find. Like I said, it's kind of a soft spot for me, considering what I do, and especially seeing how much preserving the history and heritage of our town obviously means to people from things like Oglesby Days and other things. But that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Moore.
I'm first going to go over all of the July calls with the emergency services. The ambulance had 74 calls consisting of 2 transfers, 1 received mutual aid call, and 4 intercepts, 67 in-city and district responses. The police had 21 case reports, 39 extra patrols and residences, 42 ambulance calls, and 119 park checks. Fire had 20 total calls consisting of 9 mutual aids, 2 activated alarms, 2 auto accidents, 1 brush fire, 1 power line down, 1 car fire, 1 stove fire, a gas leak, an animal rescue, and 1 PR event. But what I'm really excited for is tomorrow is the first responder night at the pool. So from 4 to 7, there will be food, foam machine, swimming, and a bounce house. So stop by with your kiddos and say hello.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have to bring the kiddos?
You don't have to bring a kid. You can come back.
Oh, gee, thanks.
You can borrow one of mine.
Okay, which one? Doesn't matter.
Commissioner McDermott.
All right. Thanks, Hillary, appreciate it. Patricia, thank you for bringing that up. Ross, Lance, and Jim, thanks for your expertise. I appreciate it. Nothing better than to have somebody that knows the specifics on certain subjects. Also, I want to let everybody know that the city streets are gonna be rumbling. August 7th, between August 7th and August 9th on the 39, we should be able to do the spray patch for there. And then in the middle of the month, we'll have the dry bridge. It'll start its work, supposedly. Let's hope it gets there. In about 2 weeks, we're gonna start phase 1 of the wastewater treatment plant. The first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna make a road. They're gonna go off of Florence to Clark to Oak. Is that right? School. And then that'll go into the wastewater treatment plant. Church and Oaks. It is Church and Oaks. Be careful. Be vigilant. Watch out for children. Watch out for your kids. And this will improve Oglesby all the way around. So it's going to be busy the next couple months.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Baldridge.
I have some exciting updates from our Parks Department. Thrilled to announce that there will be 5 all-star tournaments this summer featuring our talented local boys and girls. The new dog park shelter has officially been built, providing a perfect spot for pups and their owners to relax. This summer, they've offered 11 fantastic camps packed with fun and activities for all ages. A heads up, the last day to enjoy the pool for the 2025 season will be on August 9th, so make the most of it. Check out the new border at the Lehigh Park Playground. It's looking better than ever. Our lovely benches around town now have fresh new wood, making our city even more inviting. And great news, the basketball court at Courtyard Park has been completed, ready for you to enjoy shooting some hoops. Lastly, get ready for some clearing on Canoe Landing Road in the upcoming weeks to improve access. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Good stuff. Number 12, Mayor's Report. First thing I just want to say is I want to thank the Municipal Band and the Dickinson House Foundation for putting on the ice cream social. I know it's been kind of a thing that we do every year. I know there's some discussion about bringing other kinds of events down there. This was kind of a shorter meeting, but I think in the next meeting we'll sit and maybe talk a little bit of time about what kind of events we want to plan for the future here, big and small. I know Fun Fest is our big one, but we also want to have lots of small ones as well. So want to get kind of a listing of what we want to do. Speaking of some events, just to point one thing out, chair yoga has been talked about at the Dickinson House for a while now. So after Labor Day in September, for the first month or two, the city will sponsor the chair yoga, be an opportunity for maybe some of the elderly population if they want to get some more activity to get down there. I don't know if it's going to be something that'll continue, so if you're interested in it, please check it out. If it does have a lot of interest, we'll figure out what's going to happen from there. And the last one I got, it is the last week of summer vacation for high schoolers, so hopefully all the kids are making the best of everything they got. That's all I got right now. Number 13, executive session to discuss the employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. 5 ILCS 120/2C1. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. 5 ILC 120-2C1.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. And there's no planned actions after executive session. Thank you, everybody.
Make sure your mics are turned off.
Save me a seat, will you?
Lance, thank you for all those copious amounts of details. I appreciate that. Been busy. Did a lot of travel this last, this month. Got the. You know, I did not count my time well because when I was in Buffalo, I realized when I got there, I was only 15 minutes away from Niagara Falls.
Oh, boy.
But I didn't budget my time for the crap to go there. We had to go to Kingstown. What's that?
You wanna go to the Canada side anyway?
Probably. So the wife and I think we just wanna go up there for a weekend and check it out.
Make sure you have your passport.
That's right.
And you can't use them in the last 6 months if they're validity.
They say that, but that's not true.
No, I've had
We went-
clients refuse
We went to.
at the airport.
Oh, we didn't fly. We did a cruise and we were fine. Anyways, okay. Back in open session, roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Cohen.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle.
Here,
Kern.
Here, number 14, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle. Kern.
aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. How's your summer been going?
It's okay. Yeah, except for
Other than
my
being how busy?
brother.
Yeah.
That's what's really,
How's your mom?
you know, I haven't worked on